Alright, so if you look at this problem, it tells us sketch a graph of y equals x times x plus 4, x squared minus 1, x minus 4. So something you should pay attention here is that exponent here is on the inside. So we went over the steps yesterday. Number 1, is it factored? Well, this part is not factored. Y equals x times x plus 4, and this is going to turn into x plus 1, x minus 1. That's the difference of squares. Remember, if you were factoring that on your own, you can just use x squared plus 0x minus 1. I call that a placeholder, and you'll need that later on when we talk about long division and synthetic division. The second thing I can do is you just need to find a basic graph, so I can just go through each of these. I have x, 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 and if I multiply those, I have x to the 5th. So x to the 5th, class, is it odd or even? This is an odd, and so I'm going to look to the easiest odd, which is what? X to the 1st. And what does that graph look like? So here, there's a couple of things that are happening that I want to review from yesterday. Your leading coefficient here, I'm going to highlight this. So here's some vocabulary words. Leading coefficient, is that positive or negative? And what does that tell you? It opens up, or I don't change the arrows. Does that make sense? Another thing that we learned yesterday is something called end behavior. Everyone say end behavior. End behavior. And end behavior is, all it's talking about is these arrows. Okay? You are starting down, ending up. On the left side, it's down. So let's write that. Left side, we can say, or as x is approaching negative infinity, or going this direction, we can say that it's going down or negative infinity. So you can just, right now, we'll just write down. And if you're going towards the right, where is it going? Up or down? Up. It's going up, or we can also say later on positive infinity. So, not factored. We factored it. Don't forget that difference of squares right there. Our basic graph is x to the 5th, so I know it's going to start down and up. And now we're going to talk about multiplicity. So, multiplicity. Over here, class, if I use the zero product rule, x is equal to 0. It's one of them. Over here, x is equal to negative 4. Remember, pay attention. It's not just the value there, because you have to set that equal to 0, right? Class, this one is x is equal to negative 1. And this one is positive 1. And that one is positive 4. Class, what's our degree there? They're all 1s, right? And those are all odds. And what do you do at odds?
Strike through.
Strike or shoot through. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a graph here. Got a lot going on there. So I'm just going to label all of these x equals 0, x equals negative 4, negative 1, 1, and positive 4. I'm going to use a pencil at this case now, just in case I make a mistake. I'm going to start down, so I need to put that on the furthest left of my points. And then here we're going to finish up. So I'll just put it. So as I go through these, I'll put a check mark as I do them. As I approach -4 class, what happens? So we're going to shoot through it. Then what happens at -1? Shoot through it. And then 0? It's a turning point, right? We know that because of our polynomials to the 7th power. Shoot through. And then at 4, shoot through. And we finish up. Okay, so we know that our highest power degree is to the 5th power. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 real zeros. And then count my turning points with me. Ready, set, go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And that matches it, right? N minus 1 or 1 less than that, that means there's maximum 4 turning points.